Welcome back to Stoic Plays, ladies and gentlemen, and today's selection is Dungeon Rats by Iron Tower Studios. Now let me explain this. Iron Tower Studios is actually a company that released an expansive, very difficult, old-school RPG entitled Age of Decadence. Now I have never played Age of Decadence, but I've heard quite a bit about it. Well, that same company is releasing this mini-game, Dungeon Rats, now available on Steam, and it is set in the same universe as Age of Decadence, but it's more of a small tactical RPG, so you focus mostly on combat. Now, Age of Decadence is kind of like a fantasy version of the Roman Empire, and one of the things I heard about it is that you have to really be a bad guy to win. It's a kind of RPG where it's not enough just to fight everything and win all your battles. You have to backstab people, and you have to do a lot of really morally questionable stuff to get the upper hand and survive. I'm told it's an incredibly difficult RPG. But this is a entry into the series, so I purchased this so that I could kind of get a feel for the world, get a feel for the combat, and kind of get a short taste, because with my life, full-time job, and a YouTube channel, with all the games that I'm supposed to be playing for my channel, I actually don't have a lot of time to just play games. So to invest 100 plus hours into a really thick and meaty RPG is probably very difficult for me to do, and so I have to be very choosy. But this is a nice, quick little entry into the series. This is build version 1.02.0003, and we're going to get started here. I'm just going to kind of showcase it off for 25 minutes and let you see it. I've played it a little bit on my own, so I know a little bit of what to expect. Now, the first time I played under the Tough Bastard difficulty. Now, the standard difficulty is Murderous Psychopath. But what I've found is this game is hard, very hard. It prides itself on being hard. And what I've learned is the people who play on solo mode on Murderous Psychopath, they beat it, but the way they do it is by save scumming. They save before the battle, and if the roll doesn't go their way, which is frequent, they simply load it up. Now, I find that tedious. I'd rather set the difficulty down quite a bit and play it through and just have a good time than set the difficulty up to try to prove something to myself and then keep save scumming. Like, they both are cheating, in my opinion, and save scumming is a lot more annoying. So I'm just going to go with Nice Guy, which is the lowest difficulty, and their attacks take a 50% two-hit chance penalty. It doesn't matter though, folks. The game is still going to be hard. Now, there's not a lot in the way of story. You simply set up your person and your slave, who's going to get dropped down into a slave mine. Oops. Okay, that's me, Marcus Aurelius, and you can input your own facial images, but if you don't, this is the only one you get, which is fine, I don't really care. But I am going to change the hair to be more like the statue of Marcus Aurelius that I use for my avatar. There we go. Well, that one's better. Okay, so that's Marcus Aurelius. Now, the next thing is your stats are where they stay. Like, you do not gain more hit points in this game by gaining experience like in most RPGs. So there's stuff you have to think about. First of all, I always go with charisma because I want the max amount of followers. So I bump this up till I get 3 followers. There's also some benefits you get from this, which I'll show you in a little bit. The next thing is I don't want to take any negatives here, so I'm going to get rid of this, and I'm going to get rid of my damage bonus. Last time I put a bunch of stats into strength, but I'm wondering if that's really necessary because I like being a swordsman, and I don't think you really need a lot of strength for that weapon. In fact, I had a excess amount of strength in my opinion, whereas I probably needed more action points because some of the attacks take a lot. So I'm going to try to get that up to 10. Perfect. And I'm going to bump up my constitution. And maybe 1 strength just to get a damage bonus. You definitely want an accuracy bonus, but I think with a sword you have a better chance than with, like, say, a larger weapon. It might be a little to average, but we'll see. Next, you want to go with your weapon. In this case, I'm going to choose sword. And you want to choose, they say you choose 1 defense and 1 weapon to maximize your skills here. So I'm going to choose sword as my weapon, and I'm going to choose block as my defense. Because dodge is more for someone, I'm going to be using shields, swords and shields. The game only does one or the other. So if you have a shield, you use block. Your dodge doesn't even matter. So let's get block to 5 actually, and sword to 5. We'll do 5 each. That'll be fine. Or, well, all right, 5 each. So again, you are a slave, and you're being dropped down into this slave pit. This kind of explains it here. Your adventure starts in the dusty shadows of a prison mine, many leagues from any trading post or settlement. The second chance, as in your second chance to become a productive member of society, is the most feared of all hard labor and gladiator camp prisons. Once the jewel in a string of rich iron mines, the shafts were long ago exhausted and the ore spent. No longer profitable using conventional slave labor, the prisoners who work it now trade whatever ore they can scratch from the rock for scraps of food. Having already tested the futility of fighting the guards, you do not resist when you are hurled into a cage suspended above the main shaft. The barred door crashes shut. The crack of a whip signals a pair of slaves to the crank, and the cage begins its slow and creaking descent. A one-way trip to hell awaits, past bright fires, screaming faces, and beyond, into the impenetrable blackness of the lower levels. Okay, so Barca. I like how this company likes to use historical names. You've got Barca, which was Hannibal, of course, his last name. He's just talking to you. And he's asking you to go do some things for him. Do I have a choice? What is this place? I don't see any guards. You don't need guards. You can't get out. So this is the proverbial rock bottom. Call it whatever you want. It's your home now. You look like a fighting sort, so you won't have to break your back digging ore. Anyone who can handle a blade is too valuable to waste on hard labor. Who knows, if we get enough men, maybe we can carve up a place in the upper level. A man can dream, yes? Alright, so he's asking us to basically take out some mine workers who are refusing to work. And he's going to give me some weapons, and he has a sword. And strangely enough, the guy that I'm helping is also named Marcus. So it's Marcus Aurelius and Marcus. And the first thing I want to do here is I want to go to my inventory and equip my sword and my shield. There we go. And right now I'm just wearing a tunic. And you can see kind of the weight limit here, 16.3 at 340. So even with my lower strength, we have plenty of carrying capacity here. Now, you can zoom out, and using the mouse cursor, you can move around. Right-click makes you go. 2 right clicks make you run, and you can use the WASD keys to move the map. So we're going to go up here. And this is kind of funny here. Pick up some rocks. Let's pick up the rocks. You pick up some rocks because you like carrying things. And kind of making fun of the tropes of RPGs. I warned you, Marcus, didn't I? Says one of the prisoners. He's talking to the other Marcus, not to me. You're here again, this time with a new fish in tow. Think it's going to make a difference? Oh, yes. Yes, I think it will. So this is the meat and potatoes of the game. It's a tactical battle game, very little story. And the first thing you do is you place your people. So I'm going to place myself here, and Marcus is going to be next to me. Now, one thing I've noticed is just like other tactical games, it's smart to take on one person at a time, get them killed, and keep doing that. It's better to do that than to spread out your damage. So we're ready to go. Alright. So this is me. 4 AP to get to here, which I need to. When you're wielding a sword, you cannot attack diagonally. You can only attack in the cardinal directions. And as you can see here, I have 6 now of 10 APs. It took me 4 action points to move here. Now, there's different attacks you can make. There is a 3 AP fast attack. There is a 4 AP regular attack, a 5 AP power attack, and different aimed attacks. and they each have different AP costs. And there's Whirlwind, which allows you to attack multiple people at once. There's also a Shield Bash. So I have 6 AP, so what I'm going to do, and this guy isn't wearing anything in the way of good armor, so I'm going to focus on fast attacks because it'll give me 2 of them. Okay, perfect. Boom, hit him both times. Now, he was able to do 1 hit point of damage to me, but I blocked the most of it. Alright, now it's Marcus. Other Marcus. We're going to move him up here. And he has 8 of 10, and he has a 2-handed weapon. Again, fast, regular, power, aimed. He also has knockdown, swing, and cleave in addition to whirlwind. Now I'm going to go with fast still with him too, because that'll give him 2 attacks. Perfect. And of course, like most tactical games, you can see who's going next and what they're doing here. Okay, that's me again. So this time now I have my full complement of points, so I don't have to necessarily do a fast attack. I mean, I could do 3 of them, but I could do a power attack, which in that case doesn't look like it did anything. Nope, it did. It took him 8 points of damage, but now I have only 5 left, so I can do another power attack. And he is now down. Now Marcus can attack on the diagonals with his hammer, so he can also do... Well, he can only do a regular attack for 5, but that's fine. Let's hit Old Prisoner. And we get to hit him twice. Now, I'm pretty confident that Marcus can handle the Old Prisoner, so I'm going to go over here and take out the ranged guy. 2 AP. That actually doesn't do very much for me. Shield Bash is kind of worthless in this instance because it just moves him away, 1. But I'm trying to get close to him. So, yeah, that's about it. I'm just going to end my turn. And Marcus will hit this guy. And he's down. Let's catch up to him. So we have 8 now, right? So let's go to regular attack instead of power. Now, they're more likely to dodge if you do a power attack. That's one of the negatives. So fast attack is less likely to dodge, but it also is more likely to be blocked by armor. That was an attack of opportunity because he's running away. Yeah, he's very dodgy because he has low armor and he's a ranged character, but... We're down to 3. Oh, shoot, I didn't think about that one. Well, whatever. But he keeps giving us attacks of opportunity because he keeps running away. Or she. I keep saying he, but it's a female prisoner. And it's a dead female prisoner. You did well, says Marcus, handling you a foul-smelling salve for your wounds. But we ain't done yet. Do you need some time to catch a breath? I'm good, but you want to loot everything. Now, I just take everything. I'm not sure. I have not yet in the game found a place to sell anything, but I have so much carrying capacity that I just figure, what the heck? Let's just take everything. And you can occasionally get better weapons and armor. Not in this instance, though. Nothing really worth having, but there's a box here. Let's go check it out. And so we get a key, we get some Kadura leaves, some leather, and, ooh, a weapon. It's a net that can... Well, what does the net do? It just causes an enemy to not be able to move for a turn, which is useful in some situations. Alright, but none of that stuff is anything that I need to equip right this minute. So we're going to use the key to unlock the door. It's saying we should heal, but we're in pretty good shape. I'll just use 3 of my rations. And that's how you heal, by the way. A ration counts 1 heal point, but you can also use salves and whatnot that also do more than that, which you see here under potions. Alright, we're good. You see 5 rough-looking prisoners who are clearly no strangers to violence. Former raiders having a hard time adjusting to their new reality. You've got some effing nerve, Marcus. I'm not... Well, it's on the screen. I mean, you could read it, but I don't curse in my channel like that, so... Growls a bearded man, the leader of his crew. You want my ore that bad? Come and take it. But, as I mentioned earlier, I have a high charisma, don't I? So I have an option here. You're fighting a losing war here. If you kill us, they will send more men and hunt you down, one by one. Success! One of the prisoners says, nothing personal. says the crossbowman to his former comrades, switching sides and moving next to you. 4 against 3 is way better than 5 against 2. And boy, is that not the truth. So here's the plan. Let's move the crossbowman over here, and we'll protect him with us. Actually, let's switch us here because I want to get closer to him. There we go. Perfect. Alright, now you always get the first move. That is your player character. But then after you get your first move, then it's all resolved based on initiative. And the next round is also, even you are hampered by initiative. So let's stay safe here. So let's move me here. That gives me 6. So I can do 2 fast attacks. It's not entirely great because he does have some armor here, as you can see here. But I managed to cause him to bleed. Excellent. And now we have our crossbowmen. Now crossbows are kind of interesting because you fire them and you have multiple choices here. You can have aimed shots, for example, which use more AP. He has a lot of AP though, so we go aimed head. Why not? Got him. And then, though, you have to reload them, which you can do that by right-clicking and reload, or you could just push the R key. So now I only have 5 AP left, so I gotta think about that. I can do 1 more shot to the head. And finally, that's it, because I was gonna say I can do regular attack, but I have to reload. I don't even have enough points to do that, so we're gonna end our turn. Okay, let's move Marcus up, and let's take this guy out here. So we have 6 AP, so let's do a power attack. Why not? We only get 1 attack, we might as well make it a good one. Okay, crossbowman, let's reload. And he's down to 6 hit points. Let's see if we can't knock him out, and we did. Excellent. Reload. And boom. And end turn. Now, one cool thing this game does is that it combines all of your ammo into one pile. So you don't have to, like, spread out ammo among your different ranged units. If you have 2 guys with crossbows, they share the ammo equally. Okay, let's take out this guy, the swordsman. Actually, I didn't need to do the fast attack that time. Let's do an aimed torso attack is interesting because it only takes 4 AP, which is the same as a regular strike. But what's interesting about it is it reduces the damage of armor. So it allows you to, if someone's heavily armored, a torso attack might get you through their armor. See, the armor damage reduced. So you dent swordsman's shield, reducing its DR by 1. But I can't do that again, so I just have to go back to a fast attack. Okay, and then we have Marcus here. Let's go back to regular so we can get 2 attacks. Okay, more crossbow shots. And he's done now. So we have 3 AP, so let's go for an aimed head on this guy, the basher. Oh, he dodged it. Alright, so I gotta get closer to him. That'll leave me with 8. So that'll give me... What does an arterial strike do? It bypasses damage resistance. Yes. Let's do one of those. Aw, man, he dodged it. And then we're down to a fast attack. Okay. You'll notice his armor didn't absorb any attack, but later on in the game, everybody has really good armor, and so the sword is actually kind of pitiful unless you use a power attack. Starts off easy for a sword wielder, but then it gets pretty hard. Alright, reload. Guess we're aiming for his head still. Oh, nope. We're not doing anything because we're out of crossbow bolts. That's a shame. Let's move him up here. Looks like he's out too, which is great. Let's go for a torso attack. Excellent. And another one, why not? And let's shield bash him. Okay, he has 8, so let's go with 2 fast attacks. Excellent, and he's down. So let's get defensive here. Let's keep this guy kind of safe in the back. Let's have him fight our guys with armor. Alright, let's get Marcus behind him. But we have to just wait now. Or not Marcus, the Marcus guy, but Marcus Aurelius, me. Okay, that I shouldn't have done that. Actually, I should have thought about that and gone to regular attacks, but whatever. And now we have this guy. So let's put him here. And it takes 2 AP, of which he has 5, so he'll get 2 knife attacks. And knives are, of course, terrible against armor, but it does allow you to find weaknesses in the armor, and you get plenty of attacks per round. I took a hit there. I lost 4 points of damage, my first real damage of the conflict. Oh, I didn't want to shield bash. Marcus, what are you doing? Torso hit. Torso hit. Let's go with a regular attack. And he's down. Quest completed. The convicts have been dealt with. And I gained a crossbowman, so huzzah. Let's see what these guys have. Better armor, better shield. I like it. Better helmet. Alright, look at all that good stuff. And let's open up this chest. And, oh, tons of stuff here. Alright, so now that we've done that, let's go to our inventory. And first of all, let's upgrade everything. I have a choice between a leather Numeri helmet, which has a damage resistance of 2, and a THC penalty, or 2-hit penalty of 1. And there's this helmet, which is basically the same thing. So I'll just go with the Numeri. And this is leather Barbari armor, which has a DR of 1, a max action point of 12, which is fine because I don't have more than that. Armor penalty of 2 versus CS of 5. As you can see here, this has no armor at all. So we're going to switch up with this. Perfect. And we're going to trade. Well, let's see. This shield has a damage resistance of 3. And it's versus CS5 versus ranged 5. This is versus CS10 versus range 10. I forget what CS is. Critical strike, I guess? So it's saying that this is better against range and has more damage. Well, it has the same damage resistance. Alright. Yeah, they're the same size. For some reason, I thought the buckler was going to be smaller. And we can load up the net in our belt bag. And we're good. We have a Copus Bronze, but that's what I already have. So let's look at Marcus here. No, nothing better for him in that respect, but we can give him a better helmet. He already has good armor. And I think he's pretty solid just the way he is. Now Artemir, our ranged guy, we have some new Plumbata and some regular missiles. Ooh, Plumbata, throwing weapons. That's interesting. You know, and you can give him a sword in his belt bag instead of the dagger. I mean, maybe it's a good idea, maybe it's not. I don't know. The dagger gives you more attacks, obviously. Or you have a shiv. I wonder what the difference is. Oh, you already had a shiv. So we can just have both. Why not? And that's that for him. But I want to go back to Marcus here and maybe give him some Plumbata. There we go. Just like a true Roman legionnaire. Alright, cool. So we're all armed up. So now we go back to Barca. From what I hear, he's all Barca and no bite. Oh man, I'm terrible. Alright, didn't I give you a task? Yes, it is done. Well done then, but don't get too cocky yet, I have another task. He wants me to take out some, rats? Is it rats? fire ants, right? Fire ants. And he's saying you can pick up some more men if you want, which I do want. Well, at least one more. Now, I already have a ranged guy, since I was able to have him switch sides. So I have a power hitter. I have me, who's more of a subtle guy, and with my shield, kind of a tank, maybe. We have our tank, we have our DPS, and we have our ranged guy. So now we have to choose amongst these three. Now, one is a former legionnaire with a sword, like me, Quintus. One is Cyrus, who has a crossbow, and the other is Silas, who's an old man. But what's interesting about Silas is that he has a spear, which is a weapon we don't have in our party, so come with me. But this is funny, I gotta show you this. Always something, eh? Silas this, Silas that, now what? How did you end up here? A witch cursed us. That's when it all started. Me and my brother, we lived near a road, so every now and then we'd hide behind the rocks and wait for travelers. We were real smart about it. Never went after the ones who could be trouble. That's how we ran into that witch. She was trouble, all right, only we didn't know it. Was she really a witch? No doubt about it. We killed plenty of folks, so trust me, I know what I'm talking about. They struggle and put up a fight, but when it's all over, they get peaceful-like, and all that fight goes out of them. But not that old witch, not her. She was all fire and brimstone until the very end, spitting and cursing until she lost her voice. Then she kept eyeballing us until my brother put her out of her misery, kind soul that he was. Well, what happened then? I caught my brother stealing from me. Me own brother. Said he had a gambling debt. Now you tell me, what would make a good, honest man gambling and stealing from his own kin? Which brother was that again? The murderous highwayman? Weren't you listening? I've only had one brother, so I tapped him once to knock some sense into him, you know? Like, don't you go stealing from me no more, you dumb bastard. He dropped dead, like he was waiting for it. I thought he was playing, but he wasn't. Dead as a doorknob, if not deader. That's when I knew I was cursed for sure. That's what they nailed me for, my brother's murder. I tried to tell them about the curse, but they didn't want to listen. So your response to all of this is, well, you seem qualified to watch my back. Come with me. When you're in the bottom of a prison death pit, I guess you don't have a lot of opportunity to be choosy about your allies. But now I have a spearman to add to my collection, and what's interesting about spears, I actually don't know how they function in this game, but in most games, spears are pretty good at armor piercing, and since there are armored enemies coming up, especially some of the ants have pretty good armor, it's good to have a weapon that can potentially pierce that. But, ladies and gentlemen, we are out of time, so this, again, is Dungeon Rats. It is a precursor. When I say precursor, the story of this game takes place prior to the story in the game, the Age of Decadence, but it actually was released separately. It's a little minigame available on Steam. I'll have the link in the description. And if you like tactical RPGs with kind of a dark but fun story, I recommend you check it out. Once again, I am Marcus Aurelius. I'd like to thank you very much for watching. Have a good one.